Whip it whip it hit me, double cup, yeah. I don't serve, but I buy, so I'm loved, yeah. And your girl turn her by when I'm whip it hit me up, yeah. Double cup, light me up, yeah. I don't serve, but I buy, so I'm loved, yeah. And your girl turn her by when I'm gone, yeah. I can't smoke no more, but I got a glass table. Let's see what's your name on it. Let's see what you're made of. Bedroom, yeah. What's the deal with you? And I'm here, like I'm here with you. And you doing nothing, I'm hearing you. I can't let you walk away, I just love the view. Put my head all on your shoulder and I mold with you. Even when it seems like I'm being cold with you. I just want this feeling permanent, I'm holding you. You cannot understand what I'm going through. I got friends who aren't friends that be in front of you. I got family talking low like what they telling you. I got people I don't know that say they know me. I got 1K in my pocket I could spend on you. If you really wanna go, then we going go. And you say you wanna line, and that's not like you. And you look at your reflection, it don't look like you. And this might be something old, but it's feeling new. Whip it hit me up, yeah. Double cup, light me up, yeah. I don't serve, but I buy, so I'm loved, yeah. And your girl turn her. Whip it hit me up, yeah. Double cup, light me up, yeah. I don't serve, but I buy, so I'm loved, yeah. And your girl turn her by when I'm gone, yeah. I can't smoke no more, but I got a glass table. Let's see what's your name on it. Let's see what you're made of. Look at your reflection. Can you recognize who you are anymore? Can you recognize who you are anymore? Look at my reflection. Look at your reflection. Look at your reflection. Bounce back, you bounce back, you bounce back. Oh, I'm different now. Pill popping got me feeling visceral. Melancholy girl, tell me where you from. Why the fuck should I smile? I'm barely young. Oh, get me high. Yeah. Do this till you're fucking numb. Like, damn, did you ride? Do this till you're fucking gone. Yeah. Do this till you're fucking numb. Like, damn, did you ride? Do this till you're fucking gone. Oh, get me high. Yeah. Do this till you're fucking numb. Like, damn, did you ride? Do this till you're fucking gone. Yeah. Do this till you're fucking numb. Do this till you're fucking gone. Oh, get me high. Do this till you're fucking on with me. Leave it behind, it's all gone. If you really wanna let it go, let it. You wanna feel something, and that's fine. You gon' let him swallow up your pride. You can come with me and just ride. We can do this till the night. Cigarettes and pills when your eyes. You can take off your disguise. He ain't worth the tears that you cry. All you wanna do is get high. That's okay, let's get high. Oh, get me high. Do this till you're fucking on. Do this till you're fucking gone. Do this till you're fucking on. Do this till you're fucking gone. Do this till you're fucking on. Do this till you're fucking gone. Do this till you're fucking on. Do this till you're fucking gone. Oh, get me high. Lay down as you ride. Oh, let 'em ride. Lay down, let me ride out.
Same kid with a new bass, same bitch with a new face, same dish with a new plate. Cookie color, that's a new way. New friends that they know me, old friends that they new way. I've been getting it the hard way. They gon' find out the hard way. When she call me baby, hit her with the plan B, and it's plan A. Car straight from Japan, hands free, but ignoring she call me. I can't depend on nobody, and everything that I've been doing is on me. Who the fuck gonna stop me? Who the fuck gonna stop me? I've been on, I've been on, I've been. I've been on, I've been on, I've been. I've been on, I've been on.
If you want, we good, I'm so good. If you want, yeah. It's it is shit I've been on, girl. Yeah. Cocaine not so heavy on me. I can feel you breathing on me. Back the fuck up and just give me up. I need a bitch to call me for. Yeah. I need a bitch to give me love. Yeah. I will never return it all. Coming through all of my missed calls. I let the drugs get me. Go and let your demons in. When I fuck you, think of her. You go ahead and think of him. Yeah. But you know, I know. Leave emotion at the door, yeah. Getting high, feeling low, yeah. Farthest thing from being normal. But we good, oh we good, yeah. If you want, we good, yeah. I'm so good. If you want, yeah. Yes, I'm on, yeah. It is shit I've been on, girl. Yeah. Cocaine not so heavy on me. I can feel you breathing on me. Back the fuck up and just give me up. Hey, I need a bitch to call me for. Yeah. I need a bitch to give me love. Yeah. I won't never return it. I'm the one on this path. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Good. Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
Mic check, mic check. Testing, testing. I'm gonna turn it down a touch. I heard it come back to me. There we go. Mic check, mic check. Testing, testing. 1 2 1 2 3 4. Mic check, testing, testing. 1 2 1 2 3 4. There we go. I run with that. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. What's going on? What up, going? What's goody? Hmm? Salute and welcome, man. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Your boy, London KJV. Salute to the grand old chat room. Salute to you people. Salute to the moderators. Much love to everybody, man. Much love to everybody. So what is it today? Wednesday? Today is Wednesday. Wednesday, huh? All right. I'm feeling a little bit cheeky today, you know. I thought I'd jump out and have a little conversation and at the same time have a little 420, if you know what I mean. That month killed me, boy. That month killed me. Hmm? Yeah, that month put me to work. That month was exhausting, right? Which was good on the other sense. It was good. It was good. So yeah. Suppose 420 if you got that shit, eh? Oh man. Yeah, with that run, that's that leap. There you go. 1 second. Yeah, man, you don't know. I held it down for a month and a bit, a month and some change. Right, a month and some change, which is good. I'm gonna do that more often now. Now I know I can do it. Why not do it more often, right? Mm. Gonna get some haters now. Gonna get some haters now. But you said, yeah, I know, I know, I know. I'm only human, right? I'm only human. At least I tried. At least I tried. And I can do it again if I please, if I like to. So, you know, just bear with me. Bear with me. I'm only human. Only human. Beck said she blazed one up. Just blazed one. Yeah. Yeah. 420. He's back to say, go on, go on. Yeah, go on, it's done now. Yeah, hey, I agree with that. Great exercise is self-control. That is a brilliant exercise. Self-control. I like that. A great exercise is self-control. I can agree with that most definitely. Most definitely. You know what? I'm gonna drop that link around there. 'Cause that is a nice little segue into something. Self-control. It's possible, right? Because I did it. I didn't think it was possible. Especially in the circumstances. I mean, I've done it before, you know, when I was in lockdown, if you know what I mean, in the four walls, right? But there you kind of got no choice, right? Kind of got no choice. But when you have that choice and you can say no, or maybe another time, that is self-control. That is mastering yourself. Right? I remember my parents and my grandmother, especially my grandmother, used to always say to me, not everything people offer you, you have to take up. I'd be like, yeah, but I want it, or I'm hungry. And they give you that look, right? Now I understand. Well, I knew this for quite some time, but the grandparents, they know what's best. Not your parent, but the grandparent, right? Grandparents, you gotta take heed to what they say, because grandparents are trying to keep the whole family safe, right? Not just mum and dad or nephew or uncle, baby. They try to keep the whole family safe, grandparent. That's their job, right? So I remember those days, Nan used to say to me, hey, not everything people offer you, you have to take up, right? So yeah, salute to that. Saying no, having self-control, right? Having self-control. Is that a trait that many of us possess, or are some of us still working on that? In some aspects, I'm still working on it, but sometimes I think I've mastered it, Yeah, self-control. I like that one, definitely. Even though it helps some people, act in real life, act on the internet. Do we practice these things in real life? Do we practice these things on the metaverse or the internet, wherever the platform may be? Wherever the platform may be. Yeah, sound advice from Nana. Shout out to grandparents. Yeah, man. Definitely. Grandparents, they're the way forward, man. They give good advice. Sometimes I used to think, I don't want to go to my nan. She's an old lady. What does she know? But when you sit down and conversate, right? Not even with grandpa so much, but grandma, right? Grandma knows a lot. Right? You think grandpa knows everything, right? But grandma knows a lot. She'll tell you everything granddad knows, plus more, right? Don't let that go over your head. Your grandmother knows everything. When I look at it now, it's like grandma, the protector of the family, right? Not even granddad, but grandma. The things grandma does for the family, right? It comes like the roles change when you become grandparents. Right? The grandmother is the protector. I see it. Speaking from, experience, I see it. My old eyes. I'm pretty sure some of you have seen it, but it just hasn't registered to you until I'm speaking about it now. You're like, yeah, that's bloody spot on. Grandma does a lot more than granddad, for the family to some degree, if you know what I mean. Cherish your grandmother while you have her around. Right? Cherish your grandma as well as your granddad, but cherish grandmother. Trust me. That's some skills I designed to master or become better and better at until we die, and therefore the goal of expertise can inhabit. Okay, the lessons we can do. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, we can always do better. We can always do better. I agree to that. Most definitely. That is the goal, to do better. right? And if we do better, our children become better, our friends become better, our loved ones become better. While you're here, right, you can always do better. And then it becomes a ripple effect while you're here, right? Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Yes, sir. What is going on out there though? Differently. What is new on the YouTube streets? What is new? I've been catching up on some early nights, man. Early nights. Rested up, rested well. Mm. Anyone got a jokey joke? What did I miss, man? What did I miss? Mm. You still got them stalkers around, still got them weirdos hanging around. What's new? What's new? What's popping? Oh man. Oh yeah, I've been working on the Final Experiment Part 2. Right, that's on its way. That's on its way. I don't know how long it's gonna be. I'm trying not to make it an hour again. I want to keep it more compact with information, but still at a short time to watch. I'm off on my Wednesday today. Hey, wicked, good stuff. I have a bunch of chores stuff. Yeah, my brother is in town. Salute to your brother, man. Salute to your brother. Salute to your brother. I spoke to one of my brothers today, actually. Just checking in with the family. Yeah, it's good to catch up with family from time to time. JP in the building. There you go. Speaking of family, what's happening, JP? Much love. Much love to you, man. Have a quick beverage. So yeah, I guess today we're 420 in today. If you got that, I suppose 420 away. Excuse me. Excuse me. Where did I want to go with this? Give me a sec. So I learn something up. Okay. So yeah, I'm pretty sure most of you are familiar with, you know, the topics I like to touch on regarding home, the moon, you know. As much as other topics we like to touch on, but you know, the moon seems to be my thing right now. I got a thing for the little diamond in the sky. Right? I really have. I really got a soft spot for the thing we call the moon, Lulu. I got a soft spot for that little lady up there. Now, you know, there's so many things, so many different directions we can go with the moon. But the one that's caught my attention is the reflection, home. Home. Right? That's caught my attention. You know, I don't think no one feels the same way I do about the moon. I really do. And it's fascinating because it stares at us. It's just staring right at us every single night or morning, wherever the case may be, even in the afternoon. It's just there to remind you, like, hey, this is home up here. You're looking at yourself. Big Drink in the building. What's happening, Big Drink? Yeah, I've seen a few people cover the moon, but you know, they just gloss over it. You can't gloss over the moon, right? You can't gloss over the moon. It's one of those things you can't. You just have to, you know, cover a few things when you talk about the moon. That's just my opinion. You know, as much as we talk about the Earth, we should include the moon. And part two, you're going to see why we should include the moon. All right. So don't worry, for part two, I got you. Trust me. But yeah, I just wanted to jump out and say what's up, make sure everybody's okay. Let's head over to someone who's talking about the moon real quick. Crow. Can you guys see and hear it? Let me know.
Okay, welcome to the Crow Discovery Project. For those who follow the channel, they know I make clips to keep all the lunar waves in one piece of footage. Here's all 10 of them. For those of you that follow me all the time, you will have seen much of the footage in this clip, but you will not have heard the things I'm going to say. What I'm going to talk about here is what we know about the lunar wave, and I'm also going to go on the record as claiming discovery rights as of September 26th, and I think it's 8:30 at night.
To discovery rights, discovery rights from the get-go. He's letting you know it's my shit. Don't touch my shit.
In 2012, the first time.
I've been on Shopify from the beginning.
Uh-oh.
The platform is just never a worry. Like, I have so many worries.
Time that I shot the lunar wave just after the fall equinox. So to get into what we know about the waves, most of the wave filmings have been near equinoxes, very near equinoxes. Even this last filming from Berlin, Germany, you know, in March, we're going to have an equinox here. This one is maybe the furthest away, but I believe we had one that was just after the summer solstice in June. I think it was less than 30 days away from the summer solstice, but most of them have been filmed at equinoxes. So from the moment that I filmed and actually understood what the 2012 filming of the lunar wave meant, and it took me a while to understand, because when I first shot it, I too was thinking equipment failure and all kinds of things. But when I had the epiphany and understood what the footage meant, these are the things that are really now confirmed by the 6 other people that have shot this 10 times. 10 pieces of footage shot by 6 independent systems, 2 from Germany, all the rest shot in the United States. We know for a fact that 2 of the clips that I shot prove that the wave does not cross the video frame, that it stops at the edge of the moon. In those 2 clips, there's enough ambient light.
Excellent. That's what I wanted to hear. The wave stopped at the edge of the moon. It doesn't keep going. It stopped right at the edge of the moon. Wonder why that is. Why would the wave stop right at the edge of the moon?
And in the September filming, we're in the summertime, that was shot at 8:30. It's just not completely pitch black yet out here, and even with a full moon, depending on what your camera settings are, you can have enough ambient light so that it's not jet black. So that is one of the first things we know. We know for a fact that this is local to the moon, and it's not just my footage that shows this. As you go through and watch the videos that are running in the background of this, it becomes pretty evident. But again, if we reference the 2012 footage, a year after I shot that, when I got better video tools.
The numerology is 666. What's going on there? 666. Okay.
And I began to run filters and other things, you can see a pulse that wraps around a sphere. You can see that the wave, because in that footage it is the most dominant and easily seen wave of all the footage that I've done, you can see a bow in the wave as it travels over the sphere of the moon. particularly when it starts to cross the equator. And I have measured the bow. And if you follow my channel, you understand that each pixel has a distance value, and that is completely dependent on the system that's shooting it, whether you're doing video or stills, and also on what the distance of the moon is. But nonetheless, those pixels have a distance, and it's not insignificant. And so a bow of even just a couple pixels can really be quite a distance. A lot of people ask why we don't see stars in moon footage. So I want to address that so that everybody understands the reason.
So hold on. The wave that's going above the moon, sorry, going over the surface of the moon, right? Could that be the waters above us? Could that be the waters above us? Right? The ripple that they're showing, could that be the ripple above us? Food for thought. I think it is.
We don't see stars in moon footage. So I want to address that so that everybody understands the reason. All the time that I've been shooting the moon, I think during the one of the recent lunar eclipses was the only time where we really had a star bright enough, close enough to the moon to be in footage, and that star was Spica in the constellation of Virgo. Here's the problem. The moon is so bright that if you
Star called Spiker. Never even heard of that. What?
just close enough to the moon to be in footage, and that star was Spica in the constellation
Spiker. Never even heard of that. Never even knew that existed. Spiker. Huh.
of Virgo. Here's the problem. The moon is so bright that if you use a telescope and an eyepiece, most people use a filter to knock the surface brightness down by 80% so that it doesn't hurt your eyes to look because it's that bright. Not that it would damage them, it's just uncomfortable to look at. When you're using a camera, and I always use manual settings, this means you have to adjust your ISO. I always adjust it all the way down to about 100, and then you adjust your f-stop to monitor how bright the image will be. And in doing that, you eliminate anything that's
Across the UK, millions of people have ideas every day that could change the world.
not nearly as bright as the moon. So if there are stars close enough to the moon, and actually if you go outside and pay attention to the moon on an average night for city dwelling people like me, if you look up at the moon, it's not very often that even with your eyes, you can see a lot of stars near the moon. So that is the reason why.
Yeah, I wonder why that is. Why can we see stars through the moon? Why are we able to see stars through the moon? Why are we able to see stars through the moon? Can anybody answer that question? Can anybody answer that question? Why can we see stars through the moon? Okay, someone said we don't. What's that? It's fatter or that a data? Require that duck to be presented possible on moon, or do we just see a sliver? So my phone screen is cracked, and that's what I'm reading from at the moment. So bear with me if it comes out butchered. They are only appearing in front of it. Okay, they are only appearing in front of it. Okay, plasma is gradually regrouping. Okay. Well, I mean, is it possible the reason why we do see stars, within the moon or behind it, whatever, in front or inside, whatever, because it's a part of it to some degree? If it's the universe, it would contain everything, right? It would contain everything. So that's possibly why we see stars through the moon. It's really just on a layer of the moon, possibly. Because it's the vault, after all. Right? It's the vault. So maybe that's why. Because it contains everything. The crystalline substance.
You rarely, if ever, see stars in the same footage as when the full moon is being filmed. There's nothing more to it than that. Let's see, what else did I want to cover? Other things that we're aware of here, and maybe some of you are not. This, when I first posted this footage, I think it was the second or third video up on my channel. I didn't even have traffic or any number of.
Hold on, someone said, where's it gone? The moon is not transparent. The moon is not transparent. I mean, so okay, in that sense, are you saying it's a solid object then? If it's not transparent, is it a solid object? Is that what you're saying? It's a solid object? Here I am. He said that was flat Earth. This info that we see stars through it. Oh, I don't know. I've seen, well, not saying I've seen it personally with my own eyes, but I've seen some footage. I think it may have been Crow that presented some footage of stars being seen through the moon. So yeah, there is people out there that have, managed to record stars through the moon. So that is a thing. That definitely is a thing, whether it's faked. But why would they go through all that just to fake that? What's the goal for that? Okay, it's solid on the surface, maybe not inside, but solid surface means it's not transparent. Okay. He be doing moon disinformation. Okay, from the start. Who's been doing? Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. He said he. So that's a dude, right? He been doing moon what misinfo from the start. Who? Put a name on that. Who? Who? Yo, that's a big statement there. Day one S in the building. What's happening? Day one S. Much love. Dino in the building. How we doing, folks? How we doing? Yeah, hey, I'm with you there. It definitely is a solid object. I mean, after all, a volt is a solid object. An egg is a solid object, right? So, okay. Yeah, say no more. He said starts with a C. Well, I mean, well, this is the thing though. I don't know because look, since he shot that lunar wave, right? He got approached by people in the FE community to promote the FE, right? And he said, no, I'm okay. Right now that's what he said. Who knows? He may have bit the bait and he's telling us no. But he seems pretty independent and he don't pop up like all these other FE, flat earth community shields and people that's always pushing flat earth. You you can kind of tell who's batting for what team, right? By the amount of traffic they pump out and places they go and shoulders they rub with, right? You can kind of tell. You can't tell with someone like Crow. You cannot tell with someone like Crow. He's so elusive, which is good. That is what I like about the guy. He's not out here ramming it down your throat saying, this is how it is. This is how it is every day when he goes live. He's showing you new things. A bit like myself, we show you new things. Some of the stuff that he's shown, I'm yet to see anybody else show it, even though it's there. Because there's a reason why possibly they don't want this type of stuff, these moon conversations being spoke about. It's just flat earth, globe, flat earth, flat earth. All the while, independent researchers is, you know, like Crow, they're not even getting a look in. I'm seeing flat earth stuff through, you know, multiple channels. Like you go to that channel, it's the same thing. You know what's killing it as well? This TikTok era. This TikTok era is killing you lot's little flat earth movement. Every 24/7. It's like someone on a deathbed. They're trying to keep you alive with flat earth stuff. Should we turn it off? No, no, don't turn off the machine. Keep pumping that flat earth stuff. He's still breathing. Like that's how it is. That's how it is. Yeah, Sergeant started promoting him because it was it was okay, inferring a simulation concept, okay, which was in line with Mark pushing okay, okay. I see you. So that's why Mark was promoting him, Mr. Ten Hot Sergeant. Yeah, when they got their little agendas, they'll push you for a while. But when they see you're not, you know, taking a knee, they stay clear of you, and then they just don't promote you at all. Right? Then they don't promote you at all. Hopefully you've been forgotten by a few streams, right? They don't, they don't promote you at all. They're like, hey, what about that guy? You gonna bring him back on your show? What guy? He was never here. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a dirty world. It's a dirty game. It's a dirty game. Us independent researchers, you know, we got to do it all by ourselves. We got to do it all by ourselves. So that's strange. But yeah, the moon stuff is fascinating.
subs. I mean, I was brand new out of the gate, and almost immediately I was being contacted by observatories and
Now look what he's showing you, right? Now this is fascinating to me right here because when people give us those images, right, of the bolt and the horizon, right, and they'll show you like axis X, axis Y, and so on and so forth, right? So you get horizontal and, you know, looking out straight, right? Almost like vertical. But when they zoom in at the bolt going down the Y axis, right, like looking down towards it at the horizon, right? There's no curve. There's no curve, right? You see straight, there's no curve. Maybe some, you know, lens interference. It might even show it convex, sorry, concave sometimes, right? And that's another subject we can talk about. But it shows it for the most part of it on a flat level ocean when you look out to see the boat, right? Just imagine I'm here, this is the beach, and I'm looking out. But going the other way, right? The other way, if the boat's here and we're on a globe, right? There should be a big curve, right? There should be a big curve. If we're looking at it from the beach, from the shore, if we're looking at the horizon, it should be curved, right? Should be curved somehow, but we don't see that. So therefore, we know, you know, it's being contained or something, right? But look what he's showing you here. So this will be the y-axis, and this will be the x-axis, just at the shore. He's showing you like water going over the curve, but well, I don't think the moon's curved, right? But you can see how the Terminator line, look, it's showing you it's going over a curved material. Look.
have traffic or any number of subs. I mean, I was brand new out of the gate, and almost immediately I was being contacted by observatories
Look.
and
You see that? It's going over this axis of it. Right. Then he normally just shows it on the face of the moon, is what I'm trying to say. On the face of the moon, you see it, the ripple. But he's showing you from this side, just like how, you know, those globies should be showing us a boat in the horizon going over a fucking curve, but they don't. Never seen one. But he's showing you the lunar wave from this angle going over a curve, or it appears to be a curve through the lens, whatever. But I've never seen it in this direction, this position.
these people were going off on me, telling me how unscientific and unprofessional I was for posting this and suggesting anything about it. And it was, in my mind anyhow, immediately clear that there's something to this. This was years ago when I was still trying to wrap my head around what it was we were
There it
seeing.
is.
Even after I understood what the footage meant, um,
So like it's climbing uphill. The wave starts from here, and I see it moving along. It's moving along, right? Fascinating.
there's a learning curve. And since that time, I have literally put hundreds of hours into studying this footage. And I've done it with people who are much smarter than I will ever be. And from varied backgrounds, from CCD chip engineers to camera shop owners to professional videographers. We've had physicists. I mean, it's just everybody under the sun
Look, there it is.
has
I see it moving again, moving this way. Right, it's moving that way.
seen this
Yeah.
footage. A lot of people now. But just the sheer volume of attacks from official sources let me
Share volumes of attack from official sources. Listen to him.
know that there was something going on here, because
Let him know there was something going on here. Can you hear how the man's talking? Hmm? This isn't someone who promotes flat earth and pushes flat earth, right? This is just an independent researcher, a bit like myself, and he's just talking freely. Listen to him.
I mean, it's just everybody under the sun has, seen this footage. A lot of people now. But just the sheer volume of attacks from official sources let me know that there was something going on here, because it wasn't like malicious. It was attacks. It was like
What advert?
they were
What's happening, fellas? How we doing? Welcome, welcome. Somewhere in time, much love. What did Artizzle say? Artizzle in the building. He said, "Is it possible that Crow's lunar wave is simply an atmosphere heat wave ripple from a jet engine that caught on video the forefront via the telescope?" A jet engine? Would you mean? Oh, what, like a rocket? A jet you took from a rocket or a plane? I don't know. Well, this is interesting because he actually films another footage of a type of aircraft going over the moon. All right. So we're going to get into that as well. We're going to get into that as well. Let me know if you guys want the link. I'll drop the link for you guys as well. But welcome and thanks for being here. Jet plane exhaust. I don't know. Do we see a jet plane go by? I don't think there's a jet plane that goes by. Maybe he would have spoke about it, or maybe we would have seen it in the wave. But check this out. It can't be, because look, there's been more people other than Crow who's filmed the same event. So what you reckon? Jets went by where they was filming it as well, and they're seeing the same thing. It's possible. It's possible. I don't know. I don't know. But at the moment, I'm only seeing it in the nighttime. Hopefully, they got some daytime lunar waves. That'll be it. That'll be awesome. You know. But yeah, while you're here, folks, do me a favor, hit that like button one time for your boy. And yeah, strap in.
coming at me like they didn't want the footage to exist. And one of the tactics being used was to belittle me, that I had the gall to stand up and say that there was something worth looking at here when clearly there was nothing to see. So from that point forward, I went from fall of 2012 to the spring of 2014, never having seen another wave. But the whole time, I knew what the 2012 footage meant. Now, when I
Hold on, sorry, I just read your chat. 1 second. Where's it gone? ultimately he's promoting sim reality. Oh, sim reality, which there's been a huge agenda decades running to get people to believe, starting with theoretical physics way back. Sim reality. Mm. I've never looked into sim reality. When you talk about sim reality, is that more so of like the multiverse? Is that what we're talking? Like a multiverse? Is that sim reality? Or like uh, what's sim reality? It's really as simple as the stars are simply in front of the moon. The moon has a solid surface. It can only possibly be translucent, not transparent. The moon is a plasma body with a solid surface. Translucent, Okay. Logan in the building.
We filmed the wave finally again in the spring of 2014. I started to think, now we're getting somewhere. But then the same old attacks cropped up where people were saying, well, it's only been you that's done this. And even though I was using a different camera and different equipment, um, it didn't matter.
See, at the time, it's only him. At that time, it was only him that filmed it. But I think afterwards, a few other people started to film it.
People were saying you have to have more people do it. And finally, we got the German footage, the first German footage, which confirmed the wave.
Ah, the Germans, obviously, the Germans. They have to. Hey, if the Germans is on it, yeah, yeah, it's something, right? It's something. It's something. So the Germans did it. Anybody else capture the wave?
I spent 4 days vetting it, and I understood that I was 90 something percent sure that he had captured the wave. So as time went on, more and more people shot it. Then the attacks became that didn't matter. We had to have two telescopes simultaneously shooting the moon to do this, which I agree. It would be great if that could happen. But the problem is I went from fall of 2012 to spring of 2014. So it's not exactly like we can just pick a night, go set up a couple telescopes and do this. And the other problem is, beyond the hours that it takes, is if I wanted to try to do this, having storage space for that many high definition digital files for me would be a problem. I just wouldn't be able to store it all. So we needed another independent filming, which came. It just hasn't been simultaneous yet. Having said that, there is no doubt in my mind after what's happened, now that we have 10 pieces of footage that show this wave and 6 people who have done it. And by the way, many people have reported that they've visually seen it through eyepieces, binoculars. South Africa, Ohio, all places all over the world have contacted me to say that they've seen this. This isn't going away. And in my opinion, the lunar wave is a big deal. Maybe a big enough deal to be a game changer, which brings us to the next problem. A lot of people come around saying that the lunar wave doesn't mean anything unless I can prove what it is. The problem with this is um, I can't prove what it is with the evidence that I have. I have strong suspicions, and I have broached those suspicions in conversations and in videos, but what I'm doing is showing you videoed evidence of something that
I don't like writing essays, but here are my marks for them. So, Bestie, I'm going to tell it to you.
that should not exist, that is not being acknowledged by observatories or space agencies or anyone else, well, with the exception of one gentleman in, I can't think, it might have been Norway. I apologize if I got that wrong. Somewhere around there, I believe, got an observatory to respond, and they knee-jerked out a response that it was clearly atmospheric, which means they didn't look at the evidence, because 2 of the clips demonstrate that the wave does not cross the video frame. So, and it also ignores the 2012 footage that shows the energy pulse wrapping around the moon. It ignores a lot of things, in my opinion. So at the end of the day, I have opinions about what I think this might be. I will say this much at this point, that I think it's artificial. There's no doubt in my mind. I am
Artificial. Oof. There it is. There it is. I don't know if I can run with that. I don't know if I can run with that. Artificial. Artificial. Then that would, I don't know, bleed over into the sim reality, wouldn't it? The soul harvesting, a device built by, non-humans or maybe even humans, who know? I'm pretty sure it's, more organic.
I am 98% sure that we're looking at something artificial. And part of the reason I base that is just because of all the hundreds of hours I've put into looking at the footage of these waves. But if it was a natural event, it seems very unlikely to me that it would not have already been recorded many times, explained in textbooks, and be a known thing. And yet it doesn't seem to be a known thing, a recognized thing, or even anything that people in official positions will look at in a serious way, because to date what we've got is just short, terse answers about it being atmosphere, equipment. Of course, people would not let go of the equipment malfunction, and that completely ignores the very first video, which is also backed up by the last footage shot.
Yeah, you can't really say it's equipment malfunction. Then that means everybody else who shot it and caught it had equipment malfunctions. So we can't blame it to that. We can't pin it on that. No, no.
In Berlin. The camera pan in the Berlin footage proves exactly what the first filming proved. That camera pan proves beyond a shadow of a doubt in a bulletproof way that equipment plays no role in the manufacture of the wave. It's just not possible. And the camera pans prove that. And it's so important, as a matter of fact, that when Croat and I are out there shooting, we both understand that if we see the wave, we have to pan the camera as quickly as we can and, try to get movement into the frame so that it's not just a locked shot. And, that makes for some tedious viewing. But at the end of the day, no official of any kind has responded in a meaningful way. No officials that I'm aware of have studied this footage in a meaningful way. Although I will add, I guess some people who were following my channel brought it into astronomy classes to their professor, and it was discussed there. And I understand that it was decided that it was interesting footage.
That's not good enough, though. That is not good enough. That's not good enough. Right? This is spectacular. Not every day you get to see this type of, events. This should be spoke about more. It should be spoke about in depth. There's so much stuff that we talk about that, we shouldn't really be giving it no time or attention. But this is a part of the construct. This is something we can actually see and observe. We can record these things. Now not just Mr. Crow, but a few other people managed to record it. So I think they should speak about it more, whether it's scientists or, academic systems, whatever.
I don't know too much beyond that. The point here is this. This is a real event. It's local to the moon. It's been filmed a lot of times, and it's going to get filmed a lot more. Anyone out there who has the ability to film, if it's just a camera, if it's a small telescopes are fine for the moon, go out and film right now, because we're coming up to the spring equinox on probably the 21st of March. I haven't looked. It's usually the 21st or 22nd, I believe. As we come to this equinox, I believe we have a good chance of filming the lunar wave. And another thing we know is it usually occurs very near full moon. There's a couple of pieces of footage where there's a slight phase in the moon. You're looking at one right now on the screen, but most of them are very near full. So if you have the ability to film, even if it's only for 10 or 15 minutes, there's 20,000 people that are subscribed to this channel. If even a fraction of the people here go out, on any given night and just film for a few minutes, we might get quite a bit of footage stacking up, and that would really push this further, because at some point.
I hear you, Mr. Crow. I hear you. That's what we should be doing, I've got a telescope, but I haven't got something that records the moon. Maybe that's something I should look to invest in. You know, a nice camera. Maybe that's something I should look to invest in. But I am doing other stuff to do with the moon. I'm doing other research with the moon, so bear with me.
It won't be ignorable anymore. I
Mhm.
don't know whether that's after 20 people have filmed it or we have 100 clips. I have no way to know, but at some point, it, you know, someone's going to have to step up and talk about this. Just a second, I'm fixing my mic here. Okay, so we're coming down to the last clip, which is going to reiterate the 2012 footage. Here it is. This has always been the gold standard footage. Every viewing of the lunar wave since the 2012 footage that I have seen has not been as dominant, as visible, as obvious a wave. And Croat and I have considered that maybe they were aware it got filmed and there's been an effort to
Okay. Croat, is that always Croat? I just caught that. Croat. Who's Croat? Is that his other half? Croat. Cold. I like that.
make it less visible. Maybe it's a wave. And Croat and I have considered that maybe they were aware it got filmed and there's been an effort to make it less visible, because some of the clips, I mean, the wave's going by in 1 or 2 seconds each wave, and they're much more clear than the wave you see in this footage you're looking at right now. It's hard to know, but I am convinced that this is artificial.
Hold on, he said it's artificial. Hey, it's funny you said what 2012, because I was thinking about 2012 as well. Right? 2012. That was the day of the Olympics over here. 2012, right? We had the Olympics over here. So much things was getting revealed, you know, 2012. And this is when it happened. Hmm. Very interesting. Very interesting. 2012, the Olympics, and 2012 is when the lunar wave happened. You know, they do these things like rituals, right? It's like a ritual when they have these Olympics. I wonder if this ties into anything. The lunar wave and the Olympics. Hmm.
Looking at right now, it's hard to know, but I am convinced that this is artificial. There's no doubt in my mind it's artificial, and I guess I won't go too much further than that for now. At any rate, there it is. There's what we know about the lunar wave. Here's all 10 captures to date. I hope we can get response from somebody in the real world. I suspect that response will be either atmospheric conditions, which ignores evidence, or equipment, which ignores
That was RT. RT's talking to you, my man. He's talking to you, RT.
evidence. I still to this day have people commenting, which have been on my channel for some time, saying equipment. And it just gets a bit old because the evidence demonstrates that it's not equipment. This is a big deal, I believe, and I suppose there's a chance that I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. I think this is going to end up being a big deal, and I think that it will be famous someday. I hope I'm alive to see that day. At any rate, thank you all for following me and watching this clip over again. I know it gets tedious, but I wanted to get all 10 waves in one clip. And
Don't worry, we'll be coming back to that again. I guarantee you that. I can guarantee you that. You got some good stuff there, Mr. Crow 777. Well, I don't know why you call yourself the 777. You know, it's attached to something nefarious, but Mr. Crow, I like your work. I do like your research. Said interest in London. Yeah, I mean, look, 2012, right? That's the day of the Olympics, the date of the Olympics. Now, that's when the lunar wave got shot as well, right? Now, what if most of these, you know, events or rituals, whatever you want to call them, is just to keep us distracted for things like this happening in the sky? If we're all paying attention to these events and circus acts, we're not looking up, right? Maybe they was aware of this type of event was coming, and they said, "Oh, let's put on an Olympics around this time, you know, things like this to keep the masses glued to their phones or their screens, or you know, they might be watching it in person. But if you're watching the circus act, you're not watching the skies, right? You're not watching the skies if you're watching the circus act. That's why they say keep your eye on the skies, right? Keep looking up. Keep looking up. The other day I've seen something in my sky way up, way up, way up. And I know planes, right? Planes, they have lights on them and they blink, you know, the little hazard lights, the blink. Now, this thing up in the sky was cruising like a plane, but it had two lights that wasn't blinking. The lights wasn't blinking, it was just cruising like a plane, right? And then it went from one light going off. I was like, oh, look, babe, look. That thing up there that I thought was a plane, one of its lights just turned off. And she said, where? And I said, look. She couldn't see it, but I could still see it. And the second light went off. Then it was just cruising. I was like, oh, I wish I filmed that. I wish I filmed that. What type of plane turns its lights off up in the sky? I've never seen that. Planes turning their lights off. And it was at a high altitude. But that was wild. At first I thought it was a moving star or something. Then I thought it was a drone, but I remember drones cannot be at that high altitude. No way. All right, this was about 11:30 in the night. This was just the other day when I broke my fast on the smoking, right? I went outside and had a look up in the sky and look up, see. I was there at the right time. But yeah, I'm serious, you know. This is why they probably have all these circus acts. But we're not looking up, we're not looking out at the sky. All right, then they can carry on with their rituals, whether they're letting things in through the portal or they're just, you know, carrying things outside of the construct or whatever the case may be. Whatever the case may be. And not to freak anyone out, but there's reason to know the moon also emits its own light. Yeah, bro, I've been saying this. Come on. I've been saying this. It emits its own light. It has its own light. It has its own light. Believe it or not. It has its own light. I'm aware of this. Hell yeah. It's not as, you know, prominent as the sun that we see flying above our head, but it has its own light. Believe that. Believe that. Flat Earth Nation in the building. I film the moon all the time, and every time it waves, it's from atmospheric conditions or plane trails. What, have you got it like Crow 777? Have you managed to film it like that? And could you show us evidence that it's conditions caused by planes? That's what we want to see. Because Crow hasn't showed us that part. He just showed us, you know, ripples, waving. If you got that part of it, then, you know, start putting him on the chopping block. Start putting him on the chopping block. But if you haven't got that, then, you know, the burden of proof is not on Crow. Give them bread and circuses, and they will never revolt. Yep. Tribute to the Roman poet. Okay, see? Exactly. That's what they mean. I've got some photos. It seemed inside the blue realm still. Okay. Oh, the moon has to be the shell. It holds everything. The moon holds everything. It's the shell. It sparkles. That's why you see stars through the moon and around the moon. If you see them around the moon, that means it's probably just on a different layer, right? It's in a different layer. But maybe the ones that we see on the crate or on the moon itself or through the moon, maybe it's embedded in the moon or in the fabric. That's why they always talk about a crystalline. The moon is a crystalline substance. Crystals shine, right? Crystals shine. Indeed, they shine. Would the moon be a solar charge light source? Well, listen, I hear you going with that, right? But when we're talking solar, right, I'm thinking the inverted. I'm thinking it's more about internal solar, an internal sun being charging the egg, just like I show you guys with the cellular cosmology. You know, atom and the nucleus, eye, the lens. That's what I'm seeing. Good to hear that, London. You've been thinking that as well. I had to mention it after commenting about direct sunlight causing the lunar phases. Also, which may also apply to stars and the wandering stars. Yeah. Because they talk about, you know, there's layers to this realm. There's so many things they mention about this realm, right? But no one seems to be picking up on it. But it's different layers to this realm, but it's still part of the whole construct. Almost like a moving picture, right? On each layer, you have different stars. Different stars, right? Noble Low in the building. What's happening, folks? What is happening? Oh, hold on. Let's go over here while we're here real quick.
Hello.
Oh man. I probably got the hell for this. A quick break, and then we're going to get back into the moon topic real quick. I'll drop that link. Quick break. Truth Zone Production in the building. What's happening, Brody? Truth Zone Production. Yes, sir. That's a real one. Much love, much love. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a quick little break, and then we're going to get back into the moon stuff real quick.
Hello, everyone here today. Hello. Good to see you all. Thanks for tuning in. You're listening to El Diablo Radio International, the greatest show in hell. Nobody does it better. Nobody. Prison is the new mental asylum.
Again, a magistrate will look at the point of view of a reasonable person on the street. With the reason,
I can see it buffering. We'll come back to that. Don't worry, we'll come back to that. There's plenty of time for that. Plenty of time for that. I see it buffering. There you go. All right. So yeah, where was we now? We were talking about the moon real quick. Not even quick. You can't never be quick talking about the moon. Right? Can't never be quick talking about the moon. It's just like the body. You can't be quick talking about the body. You got to take your time when you talk about, you know, the anatomy. What, the moon? Oh, I said it was too low. Thank you. Thank you. Mm. Let me put that link out there from now, actually. We're an hour in. Guess we can drop that link. Guess we can drop that link. But yeah, some people think the moon is not a solid object. They say it's not a solid object. I beg to differ. I beg to differ. It's just, we know moonlight has the opposite priorities of sunlight, sorry, properties of sunlight. We only can measure moonlight when it's dark locally in our sky without sunlight. But the sun is always casting light onto the moon. Yeah, it will. It illuminates the sky. Right? It illuminates the sky. So yeah, you could say it's casting light onto the moon. But the moon has its own source of light because it's lit in the daytime, even when the sky is not illuminated. It's lit in the daytime without the sun. Right? Now, is this where they'll try to hit us with the how would you call it? Solar energy, right? Like solar panels, right? It's the opposite how we would use it, right? We use the solar power when the sun's out. You get your best out of it when the sun's out, right? Then it's like the opposite to the moon. When the sun's not there, that's when you see the proper functions of it, right? It's like it's collected all the sun energy it needs, all the solar energy, and then pow, it goes to work. But I beg to differ. I think it's working without the sun. Without the sun, right? Yes, sir. Still on this account. Give me a sec. Cool. Let me head over to here. This is another one by Crow, but it's a shorter one.
Okay, I want to say thank you to the Jungle Surfer for the narration request and getting this out to his viewers. My hope is that a lot of people get to see this. It's the real deal. Give me a second. Let me get the clip started here. So I'm filming one night looking for objects. I pan my camera down and the wave starts, this hologram wave. I don't notice it. And then it catches up to the camera and I do notice it. I glance at the moon, but when you're staring at things, you don't know whether it's your eyes or what. And then I notice a second wave coming. And at this point, I'm thinking it's my camera. I look up at the moon again and, I just don't know what to think. I save the clip out. I don't delete it. I almost did. And I look at it for quite some time, weeks maybe, looking at it over and over. And I'm realizing that, this is not the way a digital camera malfunctions. This is an organic line, no pixelation, no shredding of the signal. And it finally dawns on me that the pan of the camera proves it. when I pan down, and I usually don't shoot this way, I usually stay centered, almost always stay centered, trying to increase my odds of catching something unusual. But when I pan down, the wave starts, and I pan in front of the wave, which catches up to the camera, and that is the proof in the pudding. You'll notice a couple things. The wave looks like it bulges in the center as if it's going down. If you stop the frame and measure it, you'll see that the sides are lower than the center. So there's kind of a bulge, and it's also tilted a little bit, and it mirrors the tilt of the poles of the moon. I haven't measured it exactly, but visually you can tell. I would urge people to go look at Jive Bop and Gridkeeper. Gridkeeper catches structures, and Jive Bop has done some incredible work with incredible setup. And he claims you can see through the floor of the mare or the mare, the seas on the moon, and you can see
There it is. He's saying you can see through the floors, see through the waters.
structure and stuff under there.
What did he say?
And you can see structure and stuff under there.
You can see structures. You can see structure underneath the mare. Bit like Earth, right? You go to certain locations under the ocean, under the waters. You have civilization. You have megalithic structures. So, what are we looking at? Are we looking at a reflection?
Under there. By the way, if I don't comment back, I apologize. I'm not going to use Google Plus. I'm boycotting it. I have another video on this. I have a degree in internet technology, and I tell you a few reasons why it's bad.
Here I am said. Weather balloon footage shows the sun and moon are both above the atmosphere. Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying. The sun definitely is local, right? But there is planes that have been, recording the sun at the same altitude as them, right? Now, I would go a step further and say the moon sometimes is seen higher than the sun, right? If the moon can cast heat spots, right? Sunspots on the clouds, that means it's fairly local to the cloud. Then you can get a rough, measurement to how high the sun would be. But with the moon, I don't think you can really measure the moon's height because it's not giving off any source of information like that where you can measure it, unless I'm wrong. But I think the reason why that is it appears higher, right? It's because it's on the translucent screen. It's seeing like a reflection. The screen, the construct is higher than the atmosphere, right? The construct is higher than the atmosphere or the known atmosphere, where you get the clouds, the sun, and the weathers, the storms. And just above that, you have a little atmospheres. But I'm saying above that, where the construct possibly ends, that's where we're seeing the moon. But it looks closer than it is. So I think the sun and these other local things are within the atmosphere or possibly just above, but the moon is not. It's an illusion. You'd think the moon is in the atmosphere, but it's much higher. That's what it looks like to me. Or on the other, on the reverse of it, it's much deeper. Because if it's up, it's in the waters, meaning it's down in the waters. Right? Could that be the trick? The moon is actually below, deep in the waters, and the sun is above it. The sun, what do they say? On the face of the deep. Right? On the face of the deep. he spreaded something on the face of the deep, right? The sun or the spirit on the face of the deep. That would be the oceans. Now, what goes around the oceans? The sun. It goes around the face of the deep. Now, I think the moon is in the abyss, in the depth. It's in the abyss. It's always been in the waters, like Atlantis. Atlantis never sunk. It's always been in its position, you know.
Anyhow, moving on. After I posted this video and one other called Mars is No Longer Red, where I assert ISON may have electrically interacted with the planet, my UK traffic jumped, as did my New Zealand traffic, at which point I'm contacted by a astrophotographer for the country, I guess, the director for the country's astrophotography of comets and asteroids. And he tells me all the things I'm doing wrong and why I'm not scientific, and I am an amateur, but he won't provide me the images of Mars I'm asking for. And I noticed this clip also gets a ton of traffic from the UK, and none of my other stuff did before this. You know, I guess it's not proof positive, but to me, it's a note of interest. Now, a lot of people out there are saying the moon's not there, that it's just a projected hologram. I observe the moon straight for a year every month to catch all these objects that are shot and posted on my YouTube channel. I can tell you I believe the moon is there, and I believe that they cover it with a hologram so that we can't see what's going on the face of the moon, because we have good enough equipment to see these things now. So what I did is I bought a cheap light spectrum tool and a prism, and I observed daylight, I observed false light, man-made light, light bulbs and things like that, and then I shot through my telescope and just off a full moon the spectrum of the moon with a prism and the light spectrum tool. And it's not 100% scientific, but I can tell you that it's damn close to sunlight. So if the light I collected is off a hologram, it's a damn good one. Again, my guess is that when the moon's in like quarter phases or slivers or other things, you're actually looking at the moon. I think when it starts to get full or well lit on the face, they cover it with a hologram so that we can't see what they're doing under there.
He said when it's getting lit, they cover it with a hologram. I hear what you're saying there, but when don't they cover it with a hologram? When don't they cover it with a hologram? If you're saying they cover it because it's, you know, getting lit, that's why they cover it. When don't they cover it? Either way, it's fascinating, because we was just talking about the moon having its own source of light. So I find that fascinating, if that's the reason why they would be covering it. But when don't they cover it? That's what I want to know.
It's not what you think it is. I can tell you that. I've
Okay.
observed other people's video work, and my own intuition, having stared at the moon for a year, I can tell you it's not just a rock in space. There's a lot going on up there, and I hope that rock intuition, having stared at the moon for a year, I can tell you it's not just a rock in space.
You hear that? It's not just a rock in space. Right? That's what Mr. 777 just said. Sorry, Mr. Crow just said. It's not just a rock in space. And I'm with that. I'm with that. We're going to get into more of that, but I'm with that. Not just a rock on space.
There's a lot going on up there, and I hope that a lot of people can see this clip, because this is the real deal, as are all the clips that I have on my YouTube channel. There is no manipulation. There, you know, if something's color corrected, I make it obvious, but there's no animation going on. These are all 100% real observation clips. Anyhow, I want to thank again the Jungle Surfer for sharing this out with.
And well, we got you. We got you. Respect to that. Respect to that. There you go. Boom. Straight into it. Not just a rock in space. Not just a rock in space. He knows it's not just a rock. These people will come out and tell you it's just a rock. No, it's not just a rock. All right? But no, it's not in space. Where have we spoke about space being? What could it possibly be? The waters. Is that why we're seeing The lunar wave is showing you the ripple, the waters rippling over. It's in the deep, it's in the waters. Space is water. Water is space. You see where I'm going with that? Could it really be in the deep? Is that really the abyss? When we look up, are we looking into the abyss? Are we looking into the abyss when we really look up? Is it an inverted world? Are we really looking into the abyss? Is that the deepest oceans, but it's above us? Hmm? It seems like everything got flipped upside down. It's all about perspective. All right, it's all about perspective. Mm. Cool. Should be this one. Give me a sec. But yeah, it's all about perspective now. We got to start looking at things with a different, set of eyes. Different set of eyes. But it was interesting in that way, where in a way admitting the moon is local to Earth, but they can't say the sun is but would blow the sun center universal. Yeah, universal model. Yeah. Okay. There's something else. Oh yeah, what's this? The update added hundreds of thousands of miles of the app. Okay. And nobody noticed. Yeah, it's a luminescent screen. It's a luminescent screen. The great deep. The great deep is the sky. I'm willing to, bet on that. Willing to bet on that. Yeah. The top is the bottom. Exactly. Exactly. There was something that I came across. Hold on, where is it? Actually, I'm gonna leave that for my perspective build. Today's the moon anyway, Today is the moon tour. Hey, here I am. Hit that link if you fancy a little build, little chop up. Come and talk to your boy London, man. Come and talk to me. 'Cause I know you got a lot more information you got for me. Then there's a lot more. What's that? And then I admit I have. Okay. What's the block though? I admit I have a block in going more into which can't be proven. Big bottomless gulf is also the deep mass of water supposed by some have encompassed the earth before the flood. Gulfs, I think they're just really holes, like the Gulf of Mexico. I think Persia's got a Gulf as well, somewhere over that direction. Okay. The word is also used for an immense cavern in the earth. Erebus. Isn't that a name of a planet as well? Or am I thinking of it something different? Hold on, Erebus. Was that connected to the underworld, right? Which God is supposed to have collected all the water on the third day of the creation. It is used also for the hell. Yeah, connected. Okay. hell, like Sheol, that which is immeasurable, that in which anything is lost. Inequity, the temple of Prospine, so called from the immense treasures it was supposed to contain. What type of treasures? What type of treasures we talking? Check out part 2 for definition 1. It's just like a book. Danny, thank you so much for offering today. I'm recovering from under the weather, perhaps soon, but I can't say I will ever be able to get on panorama. Yeah, no worries, bro. As long as you turn up and drop us some knowledge in the chat room from time to time, you're more than welcome. I've seen low UFOs. Yeah, in broad daylight. Okay. That's the silver or Fata Morgana. Who's Fata Morgana? Fata Morgana. Yeah, it's very rare. Telling you. Very rare. Ah, okay, yeah, Iruba. Okay. Yes, yeah, now okay, I'm glad you said that, the volcano. Because that's also, I've seen something with the hold on, let me see if I can pull it up. Wait there a second. Have I saved it? Oh man. No, I don't think I saved it. Hold on. Let me go over here. Give me a sec. And build off that real quick. It does sound like Cerebus. Sounds like Cerebus a lot, but that's the 3-headed dog, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm on phone. Oh yeah, see, it's the volcano, but do you know what, it will show me something like when I had it before, right? Like a gravitate, how would you call it? You know, one of those things, those maps when they show you a gravitational pull. It was almost like an inverted volcano, like it was dragging something in. And you know who actually brought this to my attention one time, but they had no idea what they was looking at. What's his name? Big Sister. That time when me and Big Sister done a stream, right? He pulled up a picture. Well, I pulled up a picture for one of his streams and I clipped it and I showed him while he was on my stream. I was like, "Can you explain this to me? I like this." And he was like, "What's this? What is it?" I was like, "This is from your work, bro." He's like, oh. Like, I'm like, how much do you know your own work? Like, yeah, but I can't find that picture right now, right? But it wasn't a volcano. Just imagine an inverted volcano, right? And it had like a type of sphere on the edge. It was showing you like gravitational pull, right? But this is what your comment on the screen reminds you of, Bex. Darkness, you know. Imagine that ball falling into that hole, like into the darkness, into Plato's cave, right? Yeah, so that's why that came to my mind. Yeah, the abyss is a deep topic. Haven't delved into it, but it may be the most significant thing we're looking at. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm looking at everything again with a new set of eyes, right? When you lot see the final experiment part 2, then you're gonna realize, fuck, we've been looking at things very, very different. Now we need to start focusing really. Right, so reflection of inverted structures seen a lot. 49th degree north. Interesting. Sent you a pic, London. All right, let me have a look at this pic. Yeah, cornerstone. Cornerstone. But even the cube itself, right? The cube is meant to symbolize the moon to a degree, right? But this is built like a reflector, right? When you look at reflectors under a microscope, this is like the structure of a reflector. So I think they're trying to show you like a reflector, a moon, and this dish itself is kind of like a reflective apparatus. It's got the hole in the middle, signifying the deep, the abyss going in. When you go in, you see this. Yeah, this is built like a reflector. A reflector. All right, one more thing before we get out of here. Give me a sec.
Okay, welcome to the Crow Discovery Project. I'd like to start by thanking the folks over at the lab for helping me out. They've been very kind to me. They will know who they are. Let me just quickly mention something about this graphic. I may change it slightly. I don't want people to read it in the wrong way. What it's meant to mean is that the video I present will not be altered, fabricated, faked, or edited in any clever way. You will see what was filmed, and with that goes sometimes my opinions or my best guesses. And to be honest, that's not the truth. Those are my opinions and my best guesses. I would also like this image to kind of convey that if I do catch myself saying the wrong thing or making a mistake, I will do what I can very quickly to correct that publicly. Anyhow, I've got one heck of a clip here for you guys. I don't often claim I know what I'm looking at. I've never said that we're shooting aliens, but I think the clip you're about to see is a spaceship. It was staggering when it came into view on the HD monitor, not yet encoded by the camera, the live feed, and I realized what we were looking at. What you're going to be able to see here is a vehicle with 3 rocket engines, and you will see them thrust. And
A vehicle with 3 rocket engines. You're going to be able to see it. See, this brings me to my next question, right? What is going on? What is satellites and all these things? Like, some people say satellites, oh, they're fake, they're fake. But I've seen people take pictures just of their normal phone, and they're seeing satellites in the sky. How is that possible? I thought satellites was fake. What are these things that people are taking pictures of? Independent people, like, you know, they're not tied to any foundation or anything. I've seen a few people, I think even, what's his name? Phil, that used to be over here. White, what's it called? What's his name? Phil. Predators Amongst Us. He even showed me a picture before of that he took from his own phone. And when you zoomed in, it was a satellite. How is that possible? I thought satellites was fake. And I've seen a few people show me footages that they snapped and seen satellites up there. What is going on? Is it real? Is it fake? Confusing.
And it's coming down, and I'm able to track it beyond the moon. And unfortunately, because of the new system and the new controls, I lose it, which is a shame because I probably could have tracked it a lot further down. But at any rate, let's get into this thing. Okay, so I want to show you these two moon clips that are very brief. I'm going to show you, this is the new equipment shooting them. The object I'm about to show you was shot with all the new equipment. You can see what the seeing looks like. These are nighttime shots. One of these was shot the night before, and the one that's about to load now was shot the same night as the object that I'm going to show you after it was dark. And by the way, I'm not saying this is an alien, but I am saying this is a ship being intelligently controlled. So here we go now into the clip. That was a bird shadow that just went by.
Yeah, I saw the bird shadow go by. I was like, what the hell was that?
Here's the clip. In the upper kind of right middle, you're going to see an indicator point you in. There it goes. The object's going to come in right there. Watch it very closely. It's going to look like there's a light on it, but what you're actually seeing is 3 rocket ports of some sort thrusting.
See it here?
When I did the correction on this, at the end of this clip, I'll center and zoom in on this object. And while I was pulling the object to center track it,
Yeah.
when that thruster is on, it moves a different distance in the editing program. In other words, when the rocket's not on, it's taking a bigger jump than when the rocket is on, which leads me to believe that the rocket is slowing it down. I will also say, as I have done on almost every clip that I think needs this done, I drew a straight line in 2 places on this object, and it was perfectly straight, which tells me that it's probably in orbit. If I had to guess, I would say low Earth orbit. From our point of view, it appeared to be coming straight down, but now that I've had a chance to examine it, I think it's in orbit. So this footage was shot before
Go
sunset.
back. 'Cause
The
look,
sky
that
was
was
still blue. This next footage is going to be 350 with the scene.
A TV license for all TV channels.
See, what is this image flying over the moon? What are we actually seeing when we're looking up there? What is going on?
One of these was shot the night before, and the one that's about to load now was shot the same night as the object that I'm going to show you after it was dark. And by the way, I'm not saying this is an alien, but I am saying this is a ship being intelligently controlled. So here we go now into the clip. That was a bird shadow that just went by. Here's the clip. In the upper kind of right middle, you're going to see an indicator point you in. There it goes. The object's going to come in right there. Watch it very closely. It's going to look like there's a light on it, but what you're actually seeing is 3.
So there it is, right there where my cursor is, right? Let's zoom in a bit more if we can. See that right there, folks? Take it back a second.
Going to look like there's a light on it, but what you're actually
Yeah.
seeing is 3 rocket ports of some sort thrusting. When I did the correction on this, at the end of this clip, I'll center and zoom in on this object. And while I was pulling the object to center track it, when that thruster is on, it moves a different distance in the editing program. In other words, when the rocket's not on, it's taking a bigger jump than when the rocket is on, which leads me to believe that the rocket is slowing it down. I will also say, as I have done on almost every clip that I think needs this done, I drew a straight line in 2 places on this object, and it was perfectly straight, which tells me that it's probably in orbit. If I had to guess, I would say low Earth orbit. From our point of view, it appeared to be coming straight down, but now that I've had a chance to examine it, I think it's in orbit. So this footage was shot before sunset. the sky was still blue. This next footage is going to be 350% zoom, levels, contrast, and brightness, and I've partially centered the object so that we can see it better. It's going to come in the same area up top. I'll load the grid here so we have a frame of reference.
See it there?
There's the object coming in at 350 zoom. Now, if you take a very close look, you can see there's 3 engines as it tilts in to allow us to have that view. And for most of the time where it's tilted so that we can see this view, because it is moving around, those engine ports glow the whole time. I think, and this is my opinion again, I think that when it looks black, the engine ports have tipped away from us. But again, in the editor on the straight line, it would slightly tip on either side of the line, but its trajectory was very straight, which I think is indicating that it's turning as the rocket thrust moves or slows or whatever is going on here. So what I'm going to do here is load some stills that are zoomed in Photoshop so we get a little bit better resolution, and I'll show you what we can see. All right, so in the first frame there, you can see that the engines are tilted towards us, but they're just barely glowing. And as we go, 1 through 9, you can see the engine flare up and then kind of begin to dim back again. If you take a careful look at maybe number 3, you can start to see that number 2, you can start to see that there's 3 engines in a pyramid configuration. Now, in this sequence, number 1 is totally tilted away, and it's starting to tilt in so we can see the glow. By number 4, it's starting to tilt in. By number 5, you can see the triple rocket engine and the thrust beginning. By number 7, the thrust is near, its burst or whatever you want to call it. And after 8, it begins to peter off. And in this next image, I show you in the first, to the left, the image to the left is when the thrust is just about to happen, and then a good view of the triple rocket engine to the right there as the thrust is just picking up to go full on. Now in a minute here, we're going to look at this object at a 600% zoom. Okay, this is a 600% zoom. There is, again, color, brightness, contrast manipulation to help the view, to help us view this better. But this footage will show you at 600% zoom that there's something controlling the engines here. There goes the first flare of the engine as it tilts towards us. Now you can see the triple engine glow, and you'll see a big flare here shortly where the thrust is kicked on. Right there's a very short burst, and it tips away. There it goes on again. And then I think as it clears the edge of the moon, we get another big thrust, but that'll have to be in the following clip. So what I'm going to do is go forwards and backwards at the first point that the object tips enough for us to see the glow of the engine, and then the first flaring of the thruster. There it goes. And then we're going to see it backwards here with a color contrast change. And then I'm going to darken it down and do this once more going forward. This is at 20% speed. And there's the first indicator that we were looking at something unusual. And in this next clip, you'll notice that the thrusters appear to be pointed in one direction at the beginning of the clip, and by the end, they appear to be pointed in a different direction.
Greg said it looks to me, sorry, my screen's quiet. It looks to me to be moving towards the moon, which in a reflection would actually be falling towards the earth. Bingo. There you go. There you go, Bex. There you go, Vex. Ding, 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 ding. There you go. You got that thinking cap on. There you go. Exactly. It's a reflection. Exactly. Nice. Exactly. No, but hold on. You didn't speak too soon. Travel across the whole. Because look, if you got to remember, we're only seeing a small part of the moon, right? How do we know the moon is not as vast as the sky itself? right? Just imagine looking into, a binoculars. You're only seeing what you can see because the binoculars can, just through the hole itself, the cylinder shape. You only can see what you can see through the cylinder shape. But if you remove the cylinder shape, you see much more. That's almost like the moon, right? It's limited to what you can see. It's almost like you're looking at it through a cylinder. So you remove the cylinder shape, then there might be more of the moon. So when you're thinking it's going into deep space, that rocket thing's going into deep space, it's probably just going over the dark part of the moon that we can't see. That's not lit up. You understand that part?
Direction. We're going to do a 500% zoom here with filters that are really going to show mostly when the thrust occurs. I've applied the filter so heavily that when the thrust is not occurring, it's going to be a little difficult to see the object, but that was the intention here. Okay, it's getting ready to come in at the top, just right of center. Here comes the object. Now you'll see right there, it starts to flare, and I've tracked it a little bit here, which is why it looks a little bit different, and I've slowed it. And each time you see the orangish yellow is the filter indicating that a thrust has occurred. Right there. There was a small one, maybe that was just engine glow. And then right here, he gives a pretty good thrust. And now that he's not backlit by the moon, and as I
Not backlit by the moon. But for all we know, he could still be going over the moon, but it's just not lit. Right? The dark side of the moon. I don't know. There's no light over here. It could be going over craters right now that we can't see.
As I said, the sky was still blue to our eyes. The reason it looks black in the footage is because I'm using a city light filter, so it doesn't look like a blue sky to us as much as it did to our eyes. But you can really see the thrust now. He's in free space with no backlit moon, although I do believe he's in orbit. I think we're looking at rocket engines correcting speed, or Lord only knows, but there's no doubt in my mind that this is some kind of a vehicle being intelligently controlled with 3 thrusting engines of some sort. I keep saying rocket, but I guess that's just a guess. I don't know what would be powering 3 engines that go like this. And if it is in low Earth orbit, we're talking 200 to 400 miles away from me. So that's one heck of a big thrust that we're filming to be able to see it that well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I'm getting ready to load up a clip that does a 600% zoom, and I tracked every single frame, each frame being a 30th of a second. Every one of them is tracked dead center so that we can get a good view here. And here it comes. The object's going to come in the same area, roughly around the H up there, I think. Up the G, sorry. Okay, now it's tracked to center in real time. I have dynamic contrast levels and other things to help us see the object as the backlighting changes. But you can clearly see the triple engine thrust at certain points, and where you can't make out the triple engine, you can still see the heat or flame or whatever the thrust is. What you see there is something on my CCD chip. That is not one of these things I've shown before. You may have seen it earlier, that little donut looking thing, and I've covered donuts. That is an object on my CCD chip, and it's moving in that way because I have tracked either with the camera or in the editing room. And there it is. I cut the clip there. So in closing, my opinion is that this is a spaceship with some kind of a rocket-like engine with 3 thrusters that we can see. Having said this, I don't believe it's ever been filmed before, which makes this a unique clip. I've never filmed anything like this. And having filmed this clip, it changes my point of view on a few things. These are the kind of clips that, I live for, because there's so much to learn when you see something like.
Yeah, if that is a genuine clip, it's like my mind's been changed. Right? I've been looking at things in a different, aspect. But this right here as well, it makes me think what is really above and what is really below. When we're seeing these things in the sky, is it really below us? I don't know. But what is really going on? What is up? What is down? This is all smoke and mirrors, really.
Like this. I will come back on this clip probably at a later date and do more work and do what I.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll be waiting. But that's fascinating. I mean, like I said, what are satellites is. See, this is where it gets tricky now because, you know, as much as I don't agree with NASA with what they say, but what are satellites? The stuff that they promote and show us through that CGI stuff. Nah. I'm not with all that stuff. I'm not with all that CGI stuff. No way. As far as the satellites, anyway, I don't believe those things or CGI stuff, what they show us, are really orbiting these planets and out there in space like that. No. But why has there been people that's taking pictures of satellites up in the sky, up against the moon? You can always, and they seem to be like near the moon also, right? These type of satellites that people take on their phone is right by the moon. Like you can see these satellites by the moon. You know, like I said, some of the stuff that NASA has been saying, you know, it kind of it kind of correlates with my work. Like I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Not everything, you know, I'm not a NASA boy, but some of the stuff they actually talk about, it goes over people's heads. But sometimes I see little gems in what they say. I'm like, all right, I don't believe that part, but that part, yeah, I need that. I need that. So, what are satellites? Beck said islands around a continent used to be referred to as a satellite of that continent. Very interesting. Very interesting. Display cylinder. The entire is unseen, like the greater deep is all around the outside of what is seen. Yeah, I don't know. It's getting spooky. I mean, satellites, things flying at high altitude. It looks like it looks like it's going over the moon's surface. Right. So I don't know. Is that going over us? Is that really going over us? What about those times when I showed you those other flying objects flying over the moon again? And they was humongous. They was casting shadows, right? These flying objects flying over the moon surface. You could actually see these objects casting shadows on the moon, going over the crater within seconds. Now, if the moon wasn't a solid object, how can you cast shadows onto something that's not solid? You know, other than, you know, large bodies of water, I understand that part. But that's wild. What were these objects flying over? I spoke about, you know, seeing shadows go over my head. I don't know where it comes from, but these shadows just fly over my head and they're gone within milliseconds. Is that what I've been seeing? You know, things on the outside of the construct flying over us, you know, if we're in the crater and we're seeing the shadows of these objects fly over the crater, meaning fly over our heads. But it's going over the blue sky first, you know. It's not within the construct. I notice it outside. It's like, you know, a fish tank, you know. The fish can't see out of the murky tank, but something went by and he can see that movement, something going by his murky tank. That's the shit I've been seeing go over my head. Like a fish tank, but I can't see through the glass. But I know there's something there because I can see the silhouette of it, the shadow or whatever. And that's what I've been seeing for the past few years over my head. Until I came across that footage of these objects flying over the moon's surface. and they was casting shadows. How big was these things to cast shadows? How big were these objects to cast a shadow on the moon? There was like 3 or 4 or 5 of them casting shadows. They was almost shaped like submarines or something, but they were just cruising along the moon surface, casting shadows. And then they vanished when they got to a certain point. But that was talking from an amateur footage. That was like a, what's it called? A P900, whatever the camera's called. It wasn't like a scientist or, you know, someone well renowned. That was just a normal person that took this. They was humongous, wherever they were. They was casting shadows. That makes me think of Independence Day, you know, when those city-sized, continent-sized ships come rolling through the atmosphere. It damn near terraforms the whole atmosphere the way it come through. Right? That must have been the size of it, how they show us in those movies, because it was humongous. How big was the shadow? Because these craters are humongous. Some of these craters are humongous. And for a shadow to go from one end of the crater to the other end of the crater within seconds. We've seen it in real time. I'm gonna have to find that footage for you guys again. But you know, I'm pretty sure some of you guys have seen that footage. But the moon, yeah, I can talk about that all day. While you lot argue the shape of the construct, I'll be looking into the moon stuff, right? Because I think we understand what the shape and the construct is now. We're off that. We are so off that. Just bear with me, man. We've got part 2 coming. Let me see if I can hold on a sec. Get some of this little. Oh, come on. Right, where are we? We are here. Where should I take it from? Let me take it from here. Right there, we leave it there. Give me a sec. Give it 5 minutes real quick and play that. We'll get out of here.
Your globe. Okay.
What if the firmament in Genesis 1 is a sphere and inside of it is a globe?
Gilbert's map introduced the earliest nomenclature.
Your globe. Okay.
What if the firmament in Genesis 1 is a sphere and inside of it is a globe? Sphere and inside of it is a globe. And inside of it is a globe.
Leave that there. Food for thought, right? You heard it here first. These people tell on themselves. Right? Yeah, they tell on themselves. Oh well, we got much more coming. We got much more coming. All right, let me get this ready so we get out of here. Yes. Other than that, you know, I ain't trying to keep you guys for much longer. Thanks for coming out. I appreciate everybody who showed out today. Appreciate you fellas, guys and girls a lot. It's been a pleasure. Always go where you're appreciated and loved. And you know, Drink your waters. Drink your waters. That's all I can say. Make sure you drink your waters. And go read a book. Until then, look after yourself. Love over war. Lay low. London.